All right, shalom, shalom. First off, we're going to give all praises, glory, honor, and power that's due unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rachakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, those who wrote well and I learned this truth from. And salutations unto you brothers out there stiffly pushing this one truth in all sincerity and diligence, risking your lives and freedoms to do so, and shalom to the rest of the elect. All right, this is your brother, Chagabar, back at you again with another brief lesson, which will be touching pretty much on the universal basic income. All right. The universal basic income, man, which we know, as you can see this picture I've pulled up for you. We know that that's a part of the Agenda 2030. OK, which Agenda 2030, man, is pretty much the enterprise that these elites want to have set up. All right. By 2030, man. In which if you actually go through this list, you see. All right. That these various things that are on this list, man, they're actually pushing these things into society. All right. We know it's 2023, man, and these devils ain't wasting no time. OK, when you look at different countries around the world, they may have various, aspects of these certain things already in place. OK, dealing with like the social credit system in China. OK, the carbon footprint surveillance system. All right, that New York just went out. All right, and they're pretty much going to be tracking a carbon footprint on food. OK, I believe that was New York. All right, you got the robots in the workforce. That's why a lot of the tech sector employees have been getting laid off. All right, in large quantities. All right, really, each sector has been getting hit, but a lot of the tech sector workers, like your Apples, these different tech companies, they've been getting laid off. All right. And pretty much they want to bring in AI and robots into the workforce. OK, which is also another reason why they'll be able to have it to where they'll be able to give you a certain amount of money each month. OK, which is what? Universal basic income. All right. Which is also on this list. It says universal basic income for compliant citizens. Right. Because ultimately, man, they're going to have I forget exactly, what it's called, the terminology, but they're going to have the population broken up into different categories. OK, and, you may be on a restricted list. You may be on a limited list. OK, and depending on, what list you on. Right. That's going to determine, whether or not you get your funds for the month. Right. Is going to, certain restrictions are going to be in place. Right. And it's also going to be tied to that carbon footprint. OK, limiting the amount of things you can buy. Right. So on and so forth, man. But I just kind of briefly wanted to touch on the fact that they're continuing to push out this, rhetoric. All right. Touching on the possibility of being able to receive, stimulus checks each month. All right. Which this article, it says Americans could receive $1,200 stimulus checks every month. OK, but like with these things, when these things come out, man, you got to be circumspect. OK, this devil ain't just going to be giving out money for no reason. OK, and you have to understand that ultimately this is a part of the the enterprise that they're setting up. OK, essentially, to where they control every aspect. All right. They also control your money. OK, how much you get, how much you have in your account. Right. And that's, we know that Fed Now system. All right. That's going to launch in July. All right. The feds are going to use that as the new form of, the new form of payment system that they're going to cause these different banks to adopt. All right. And that's why a lot of banking employees are getting fired as well. OK, which you can look into that. The banks shutting down, the banks closing. All right. You had that info just went out how these large banks are. I forget it, the bank in specifically was NatVat or something along them lines, man. Nat Bank or something like that. But they pretty much want you to bring an invoice if you want to withdraw cash. All right. And pretty much saying how they can prevent you from being able to take your money out, man. See, so it's all a part of the enterprise that the elites are setting up. It's none of these things are a coincidence, man. All right. We know the scriptures don't deal with coincidences. All right. Everything that happens is essentially was set out to happen that way. Okay. And so, being circumspect and being a man of the Lord, we essentially have to pair these different things, that we look into with the scriptures. Okay. And with the plan that these elites pretty much have revealed that they want to do, man. See, but yeah, it got the microchips and implantable brain technology, which we know that Elon Musk just received FDA approval for those brain chips, right? So again, it all, like I said, man, the different things on this list, you actually can see these things are already in play, man. They're already putting these things into place. Destruction of motherhood and fatherhood, destruction of genders. See, as we constantly hearing about the alphabet community, right? There's always there's always something in the news, man, about the alphabet agenda, about the genders, right? The male versus female and shit like that, right? All of these things, man, are part of this man's enterprise he want to set up. Okay. If you was able to imagine how, if all of these things were in place, how destroyed and wicked and just deranged this world would look, man. Hey, it would be a very I don't even know the word, man. It would be very destroyed. Okay. But at the end of the day, we know the Most High is not going to allow these devils to have this very enterprise in motion. Okay. We know that it proceeded to the prophecies in Job. Okay. The Most High pretty much got, boundaries on them. All right. And when these devils, think that they're going to be checking off everything on this list and, we got that set up, that set up, that set up. But the Most High is going to allow that destruction from World War III, man. So we know World War III, that's why it's getting closer and closer, because the Most High is about to pretty much cap these devils off. All right. And so we, like I said, with this, all this rhetoric about, this pretty much universal basic income, it's a trap, man. It's pretty much going to be a snare. All right. And I'm going to read a little bit of it, but it's, pretty self-explanatory. It says, and this is Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. All right. That's that Ethiopian looking chick, I believe. Slovakia. But anyways, it says she's put forth a national income program. And see, so it's going to be national, man. Right. Which, when them stimulus checks was first being given out because of C-19, right? That's pretty much how this is going to be, man. Okay. But it's going to be monthly. All right. It's going to be a monthly stimulus check. All right. And it's not going to be in the form of, cash in this current monetary system. It's going to be in the form of them CBDCs. All right. And that's what I believe, speaking as a man. All right. Which, when you understand it, that's the next, that's where everything's headed. All right. That's where that's the direction these elites are taking it. So it only makes sense that when they roll out this UBI, all right, that it's going to be in the form of the CBDCs. Okay. Which, is also another way they're going to entice people to adopt it. All right. But anyways, it says she's put forth a national income program that aims to offer recipients a monthly payment of $1,200 over a span of 5 years. Right. Say, throwing numbers out. OK, over 5 years. All right. But, ultimately, man, if Esau could actually have this enterprise set up, best believe the robots and AI technology, man, that shit would pretty much take it will take over the human workforce. OK, now I'm sure there's certain jobs that, they might not be able to, to take over. But for the most part, you'd have a lot of people without jobs, man. So, of course, for them to, put food on their table and things like that, they'd have to receive, a stimulus package from the government, It says in her op-ed published in the Star Tribune, she outlined 2 proposals to provide financial assistance to families, the first being the Support Act. So it says under the Support Act, every adult will receive $1,200 a month, while each child will be granted $600 monthly. So it's funny because they pretty much are in a process of getting rid of the current government supplemental programs, meaning SNAP, EBT, you know, blanking on it, you know, Section 8, right? Different things like that, because ultimately they're switching over to this new form of government aid, man, and it's gonna come with a cost. Okay, it's gonna come at the cost of your privacy, right? Your liberties, right? It's gonna come at a great cost, man. All right. But essentially they're in the process of doing away with the old way of, you know, you being able to get help and depend on the government. Okay. It's, you know, we're in that switch. All right. But anyways, it says these payments will be administered through local governments over 5 years, ultimately establish what Omar calls an income floor for everyone. See, that's why they, you know, demolishing the middle class, man. And it's just going to be, everyone's going to be on the same page. All right. You're going to have the elites, right? You would have the elites and then you'd have everybody else. Okay. There'd be no more middle class, upper middle class, lower middle. You know what I'm saying? There would be no more of that, man. Everybody would just pretty much be on the same playing field. You know, you'd be on the same playing field, man. All right. It says, these payments will be administered through local governments over 5 years, ultimately establishing what Omar calls an income floor for everyone. Says she emphasized her commitment to pushing for legislative measures such as the Support Act to ensure guaranteed income for individuals, right? Well, why would you need guaranteed income, man? It's if you're not working. Okay, if you're not working and if they default on debt, man, best believe that we go into them different them government jobs and shit like that, man, they'll be out of work. You see, so I mean, if it makes sense for them to default, it makes sense for certain, you know, catastrophic things to happen. All right, it makes sense for these elites to do it, man, because it would just ultimately further their agenda. Okay, but you know, we're gonna have to see how these devils, you know, play the cards. It says, let's see here. Yeah, and I didn't want to grab the whole entire article. You know, it's pretty much the point, man. It's pretty self-explanatory. It says Representative Ilhan Omar's National Income Program, the Support Act, and the End Child Poverty Act seek to address the financial challenges faced by families across the nation. These proposals aim to establish a foundation of economic stability and support for individuals of all backgrounds by providing consistent monthly payments. I mean, and you hear that, you're like, oh, that's good. But again, man, everything this devil, scriptures say, you know, they speak with a forked tongue. You know, so it'll sound good. It'll sound like they're doing something that's going to help out the people, you know, but in reality, their true agenda, what they're really trying to do, all right, is have control, all right, over every single aspect of your life. Okay, it's the smart cities, right? I mean, and it's like I said, man, it's evident, you know, it's plain as day. Okay. But I just briefly wanted to touch on that, man, because like I said, don't be surprised if, you know, they come out and they actually begin to implement, you know, universal basic income for certain, you know, it says for compliant citizens. Because again, if you're restricted, if you're, you know, late on a red list or something like that, then, you know, hey, it's going to be a different story. But for most sheep, you know, that go along with it, man, they're going to give you different perks and incentives. All right, to pretty much bow down to this beast system. Okay, but that's pretty much the point. And with that, we're gonna close out. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Bashim Rachakadash DTA Wa Baba Ball Shalom.